Hello and welcome to your favorite nautical authoritative, Nimasa This Week, the voice of maritime. Nimasa This Week is brought to you by the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, the nation's apex regulator and promoter of activities related to shipping, maritime labor, and of course the advancement of our economic fortunes through our seas, also known as the blue economy. My name is Ubong Essien, and as always, I will be your guide on this voyage.
You are watching Nimasa This Week.
Nimasa This Week.
Nimasa This Week. Nimasa This Week.
It's the voice of maritime.
The voice of maritime.
The voice of maritime.
Please stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Nimasa This Week, the voice of maritime, showing on these stations.
Welcome back. It's still Nimasa This Week, the voice of maritime. As always on the program, we have our DG's diary, where you get to see what Dr. Bashir Jamoh has been doing at the helm of NV Nimasa. Also on today's episode is our Know Your Convention with Olabisi George. We've got Nimasa news for you and, of course, our other regulars. So if you're ready, let's anchor away.
Introducing the Nimasa Distress Response Call Lines for all maritime stakeholders, ship owners, seafarers, ship captains. Whatever your challenge or distress in the Nigerian maritime domain, please call 0803 0685 167, 0708 0005 956, 0700 0700 010. If you can't reach us on these lines, please call 0700 0700 020, 0700 0700 030. Also via VHF Radio Channel 16. Call and Nimasa will respond. The Director General of Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Dr. Bashir Jamoh, played host to the International Maritime Organization consultant, Captain Philip Heyl. Dr. Jamoh took the consultant on a tour of some of the agency facilities at the Regional Maritime Rescue Coordination Center, RMRCCC, in Kirikiri. The first port of call was the Command, Control, Communications, Computers and Intelligence Center, C4I. The C4I Center is the brain of the Deep Blue project, as it can see, monitor, and record all maritime-related operational activities while giving orders to the Deep Blue assets and other security agencies.
This is the brain. Your brain will tell your hand what to do at different times. It will tell your leg. This C4I Center tells all our port firms what is happening and what they do from time to time. So whatever they see here, they transmit it to the appropriate quarters, if it's the air, land, or at sea. So this is the brain component of the Deep Blue project.
The Nimasa boss also informed the captain that the agency is working out a collaboration with other agencies to interface their control centers with that of C4I to expand their operational efficiency.
So what we are working now is to work to see how all this system will be integrated and interfaced, so that we'll be having real time on time. For instance, now if we have a phase of Falcon I here, we have 33I here, we have I247 here, and then they also have C4I like that. That's what we are working towards now. The entire system will be integrated.
After conducting the IMO Consultant around the C4I Center and explaining how the center functions, Captain Philip has this to say.
I'm very impressed at the capability of the Deep Blue project. And in fact, as we have been discussing, and I think we'll continue to discuss, there are real opportunities to do regional training in areas like this. Because most of the region, the issue that you were mentioning about the borders issues, you fix that by developing trust, by having training sessions so that you know what everybody does.
Dr. Jamoh also conducted him round the library facilities where he made suggestions on how to get more materials to enrich the collection. He was also taken round the training facilities, computer center, lecture hall and administrative block. At the end of the tour, Captain Philip described the tour and his experience as excellent.
Excellent.
As part of the ongoing interactions and discussion between Nigeria and the Japanese government to strengthen maritime security in Nigerian waters and the Gulf of Guinea, the Director-General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Dr. Bashir Jamoh, recently met with the Japanese ambassador to Nigeria, His Excellency Masunaga Kazuyoshi. The discussion focused on the deployment and the use of information and communications technology to help strengthen security in the Nigerian maritime domain. The Nimasa boss also discussed the acquisition of security patrol boats from Japan to beef up the array of assets of the Deep Blue project. The Minister of Transportation, Right Honorable Rotimi Amechi, was also on the ground to make inputs on the deliberation. The Japanese ambassador commended the positive progress that Nigeria is making through the Deep Blue project. An agreement has been reached on modalities for the seamless and timely delivery of some of the Deep Blue project assets currently at the ports by the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency and the Nigerian Customs Service. The agreement was reached in a meeting between the Director-General of Nimasa, Dr. Bashir Jamoh, and Comptroller-General of the Nigerian Customs Service, Colonel Hameed Ali, retired, at the Nigerian Customs Service office in Abuja. The Comptroller-General of Customs said the peculiarities and the urgency attached to the need of the assets called for the need to find a common ground that would assist in the full deployment of these assets. Dr. Bashir Jamoh, while appreciating the Comptroller-General for the efforts to clear the Deep Blue project assets still at the ports, urged the Nigerian Customs Service to see and treat the asset as a national asset that should enjoy some concession in terms of duties. The Nimasa boss implored the Customs Service to key into the Deep Blue project, especially for monitoring, enforcement, sharing of information, and capacity with the agency to ensure successful implementation of the Deep Blue project.
Hello viewers, welcome to another segment of Know Your Conventions on Nimasa This Week, the voice of maritime. I remain your anchor, Olabisi George, and today we'll be speaking about the International Convention for the Removal of Wrecks. To have that discussion with me today is Mr. Issa Mudi, Acting Head, Marine Environment Management Department. You're welcome to the segment.
Thank you, madam.
You're welcome. And also Dr. Awal Bamanga, Chief Marine Environment Management Department. You're welcome to the segment.
Thank you.
Very well. Today we'll be speaking, like I'd said, on the International Convention for the Removal of Wrecks. Mr. Moody, can you give us a brief introduction into the Wreck Removal Convention?
The Wreck Removal Convention, which is called the Nairobi Convention, 2007, is an appendage of rules and regulation and guidelines on how to carry out safe removal of wreck from our territorial water. It's made for states, countries who are members of the IMO. It gives a group guidelines on how wrecks can be safely and environmentally friendly removed from the marine environment.
You use the term safe. That means that these wrecks actually pose a threat?
The wrecks pose a multitude of threats to maritime activities. I'll try to simplify it to our viewers. One, it's a threat to safe navigation. When you have a wreck obstructing the path of vessel movement, it causes a lot of problem. Wrecks equally spill, depending on the cargo it's carrying, spill toxic materials into the marine environment. And you know what that does to the marine ecosystem. Equally, if we look at it from the ramification of security, wrecks have been known to be used, to be den of sea robbers, pirates. So the issue of wrecks is a serious problem to the maritime community as a whole.
So basically the convention centers on safe removal of
The
wrecks.
convention tries to teach states how you remove wrecks from the environment in a safe, sustainable manner.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Heyl, this convention, who does it apply to? How does it work? What is Nimasa's role?
The international convention applies to the marine environment, ranging from the territorial waters up to EEZ. It also applies within the inland waterways as well as the channels, that is where the Nigerian Ports Authority have control. Now, within this area of jurisdiction, the Nigerian Ports Authority can remove wrecks within the port, which is within 12 nautical miles, to ensure the safety of navigation within this territory.
Which is the ports?
Which is the ports.
Okay.
And if the wrecks found in the inland waterways, the National Inland Waterways Authority also has responsibility to remove these wreckages from that environment. Now, the Maritime Safety Administration also has responsibility of dealing with these wreckages up to EEZ, which is 200 nautical miles. That is the Maritime Safety Administration. Now again, the Maritime Safety Administration can do this in collaboration with these agencies, because the most important thing is to ensure safety of the marine environment from the hazard of wrecks within the ecosystem.
So there's actually a shared responsibility between Nigerian Ports Authority, Nigerian Inland Waterways Authority, and Nimasa.
Yes.
So they actually work together to ensure that their waterways are rid from these wrecks.
They can do it in a collaborative manner. Yeah.
So, sir, what exactly is a wreck? What does the convention tell us about wrecks?
A wreck is when there is a report by Marine Casualty Investigation that applies to a stranded or sunken ship. Any part of a stranded or sunken ship, any object found or container within a stranded or sunken ship that can be identified a distance away from the vessel. This is what is called a wreck. It encompasses all these characteristics I've just enumerated.
Characteristics is sunken, the vessel is sunken.
Any part of it, of that sunken vessel,
Okay.
either sunken or stranded,
All right.
would be a wreck.
All right.
Any object on board that sunken or stranded vessel,
Okay.
be it a container, even if it's dumped a certain
As a
distance
site.
away,
Okay.
all are classified as wrecks.
As a wreck.
Yeah.
That is how you identify
Trying to wreck,
wrecks.
yeah.
All right. Dr. Heyl, now that we have identified what a wreck is, and Mr. Moody has told us that the convention centers on removal of hazardous wrecks, what's the measures for removal?
Thank you, BC. Once wreck is reported in marine environment, the first thing that...
When you say reported, who reports? Is it that the organization identify, or lay persons reports?
Anybody can report wrecks.
Report, okay.
It's found in the marine environment, either by the stakeholders or by public generally.
All right.
It depends on where it is located.
So they report to the Nimasa?
They report as a Maritime Safety Administration.
Okay.
First of all, the owners know that their wreck is somewhere in marine environment. So they also have the right to report to the Maritime Safety Administration. Like you rightly pointed out, the essence of removal of this wreck is to ensure that it's not obstructing navigation, safe navigation, and it's not causing accident or marine pollution. So it is a potential wreck within the ecosystem. Now, the next thing is to, how do we now identify these wrecks? Is by carrying out what is known as location. Marking, first of all, you locate where it is. You now carry out marking and possible removal. And these are all done based on the survey that you're going to conduct.
Who conducts this marking and survey? Is it the Maritime Agency, Nimasa, or the ship owner?
Maritime Agency, because it goes in line with the identification. Either they are critical or they are not critical. So once those ones that are critical that have constituted navigation is known as hazardous wrecks. So they need to do that survey to be able to mark it. Is it critical or is not critical?
So once the agency says it's critical,
then now,
what's the measures for removal?
The measures for removal, first of all, it depends on where it is located. If it is located maybe within some particular nautical miles, or wherever it is located, they'll first of all get to the owner and notify him that his wreck is posing danger to the navigation. He should come and remove. In a situation whereby the owner is not cooperating, they could also notify their insurance that wreck is causing so navigation within the marine environment, and that is done through the ship registry. It depends on which flag the ship is carrying. Yeah. If both this one is not working, the agency has to remove it to comply with its mandate of safety of navigation and prevention of marine pollution. These are the measures that need to be taken before the actual removal.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you
Moody,
very much,
Acting
madam.
Head, Marine Environment Management
Thank you very
Department.
much.
Thank you for coming to this segment. And also Dr. Al, Chief Marine Environment Management Officer. Thank you for coming to this segment.
Thank you, Isi.
Viewers, that's as much as we can take on this episode. Until next time, we'll bring you the concluding part of the International Convention for the removal of wrecks, also known as the Nairobi Convention. Nimasa This Week, the Voice of Maritime continues.
The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, has organized a sensitization program for stakeholders in the maritime labor sector on the use of maritime labor e-platforms. The e-platform is designed for proper registration of seafarers, dock workers, and their employers. Delivering the keynote address on behalf of the Director-General of Nimasa was the Executive Director in charge of Maritime Labor and Cabotage Services, Honorable Victor Chair, who stated that the e-platform will ease the registration process in line with international best practices.
I'm glad today that we are here gathered to discuss and sensitize the stakeholders on this very important assignment, which has to do with the Maritime Labor e-platform, where everything, you can sit in the comfort of your homes, right from your phones, and you can access the Maritime Labor e-platform and do your transactions. You don't need to come to us, we'll see it. and everything can be done online. And I think that's where the world is going today.
The Assistant Director of Maritime Labour Services, Dr. Amos Kuje, explained the rationale behind the introduction of the e-platform to allay the fears of some of the stakeholders.
On the e-platform that we want to embark on, the idea is in line with our Nimasa Act, particularly in Section 27. The very first paragraph of that section talks about registration of dock workers, seafarer, employers, and so on and so forth. You can't register without issuing an identity. It's a foundation for us to continue relating and ensuring anything that pertains to their living, working conditions, manpower planning, capacity building, and so on. We have to register them.
Further explanation of the platform and the registration processes were explained to the stakeholders, while suggestions were made on how to improve and make the platforms to be more user-friendly. In attendance were executives and representatives from Seaport Terminal Operators Association of Nigeria, Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria, National Association of Stevedoring Operators, Association of Mining Agents of Nigeria, Water Transport Senior Staff Association, and Association of Jetty Operators.
Welcome back. It's still Nimasa this week, the voice of maritime, and straight away we take you to the Maritime Mandate. Yes, that's the weekly column that the DG of Nimasa writes, and it's in the Guardian newspaper every Wednesday. And this week, the DG is taking time in his article to express his excitement about the IMB's Q3 report on the state of our waters, Nigerian waters, and the Gulf of Guinea. And he says IMB's Q3 report. IMB, by the way, is the International Maritime Bureau. They are responsible for aggregating data of happenings across various maritime locations all over the world. And his piece is titled IMB's Q3 report, Moving in the Right Direction. Absolutely. Piracy and attacks on our waters have dropped so significantly, and the DG is taking our time to celebrate this. So the DG is reflecting on the success recorded so far with regards to ensuring that we have calmer coasts and safer seas. This is not in any way a triumphalism. Far from it. His piece recognizes that the situation can be quite tenuous. Hence, his argument that we are moving in the right direction, and it's time for the international community to take note of this and begin to give Nigeria credit for dealing with the situation in the Gulf of Guinea, so as to begin to address issues such as the war risk insurance that the Director General of Nimasa has been campaigning against over the past 6 months. Nigerians do not deserve to pay a war risk premium on goods and supplies and machinery that are shipped to our country through our waters and the Gulf of Guinea. So you can read about it in The Guardian. And if you don't have a copy of The Guardian, you can go online, search for the article, or visit the DG's website, bashirjamoh.com. You'll find the piece there. So you can continue the conversation with the DG on all of his social media handles as displayed on your screen, from Instagram to LinkedIn to YouTube, and of course on Facebook. You can also extend your conversations to all of our Nimasa official social media handles. Now, if your interest in the Nigerian maritime space is for business, then you know you must play by the rules, because the maritime industry is heavily regulated. You don't just show up with a badge and decide to start transferring containers from a vessel at Tinkan Island to somewhere in Ogun State. No, that's not how it happens. You must be registered, and to register you must know all of the requirements and meet all of those requirements, and Nimasa bears significant regulatory responsibility for ensuring there is safety in our waters. So how can you go about this? By simply making the Nimasa official website your first port of call. The site as displayed on your screen. Thank you for watching today's episode of Nimasa This Week, the Voice of Maritime. It is our hope that you found some useful insights as to how the Nigerian maritime space operates under the regulatory leadership and direction of Nimasa. There is a sailing rule that governs the activities of vessels at sea, and it says that the right of way goes to the vessel with the least competent crew. Even in shipping, there is room to cut others some slack. And I hope we learn from this to be very accommodating of others, even when it appears that they do not meet up with our own set standards. Till I see you next time, my name remains Ubong Essien, asking you to stay on course. Bye-bye.